But speaking of quarterbacks, I just wanted to touch on the situation in Miami. I think Miami fans are kind of getting antsy, trying to see if Tua will be their quarterback of the future, but he's not even seeing the field. The only field he's seeing is when he's celebrating with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick has been putting up numbers. He's been getting some W's. Do you think Tua sees the field in 2020? I know you said like probably after the bye week, but their bye week just got moved up.
Yeah, if Ryan Fitzpatrick keeps playing and winning games, then I don't see it. Maybe the last 2 weeks of the season because they know Ryan Fitzpatrick is retiring or he's leaving or whatever. Then Tua gets a meaningless game where you could just see what he's got, kind of like what um, Kansas City did with Patrick Mahomes. I could see that, but the way Fitzpatrick is playing is he's keeping them competitive and he's allowing the Dolphins coaches and staff to see who they have moving forward, who they have that could play in the NFL, who they have that could fit their system, that fit their team. Once Ryan Fitzpatrick stops doing that, is when I think they'll bring in Tua. Um, I I'm a believer, and your guy has it or he doesn't, and sitting a year doesn't really help that much because I mean, like, how much is really like we just talked about in practice? Like, even if you work on your mechanics all day in practice, once you get to a game and start shitting your pants, the mechanics can go out of the window. So, to me, I'm a believer in you play right away, especially if you're a first round pick. But everyone has like their kind of view on that because they've seen the success of like say Aaron Rodgers or Pat Mahomes. But I truly think that Aaron Rodgers and those type of players who made it work in that situation were going to be good right off the bat anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. I think it's a scenario where you got to get used to the game. Like, you're not going to permanently change your mechanics, but it's something where you get used to the speed of the game. And I think the more practice you have against NFL caliber defenses will get you ready for, game time. So I'm fine with him sitting on the bench, especially if your starting quarterback is doing good. I just don't think Ryan Fitzpatrick is doing. I don't think he's doing great enough for Miami to be a contender for playoffs this year. So, like you said, like once it gets towards the end when Miami is officially knocked out of the playoffs, I think Tua will get in. And as a Dolphins fan, I'm perfectly fine waiting for him to be there. Like, he's not going to do anything to put Miami into the playoffs, I don't think. So playing him now won't really matter as compared to playing him in the last few weeks. Um, the scenario would have been great for him coming out of a bye week because I think that he would have played like the Jets twice and I forgot some other like shitty team. So he could have gotten to practice against those bottom feeder teams. But now Miami coming out of the bye week, I think they got some pretty hard games coming up. So I don't think he'll play out of that bye week. But yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick seems to be doing like he's not doing anything great. He's kind of doing just enough not to get canned. And I've heard stories of analysts being like, we should probably be worried about Tua because he's not like, he's not playing. Like, how bad is he that he can't replace Ryan Fitzpatrick? But I don't think that's the scenario. I think the scenario is that Ryan Fitzpatrick is just good enough for Miami to not rush into playing Tua, especially coming off an injury.
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think the Dolphins are being very patient with Tua, and it is a good thing if your quarterback is allowed to keep your team competitive and might now get you to the playoffs, but you at least see that what you have in your team. So going forward with Tua, you know what you need to do to get better. So when he gets in there, he's not thrown to the wolves and has a really awful first year and shoots himself in the foot, loses confidence and all that. But to me, the reason I say playing, because for instance, practice is practice, and I mean playing high school football obviously is not to the level of NFL and college D1 or anything like that. But when you're in practice, it's one thing to play at that game speed and you practice how you play type shit. But you're against your friends, you're against your teammates, and you're never gonna go as that hard. You're not gonna go and try and twist their necks and shit. Some people do actually. No, I can't say that. Some people are psychos, but
We just talked about a guy getting into a fight with
Yeah.
in
Some people are
practice,
fucking psychos, but you know what I mean. But when it comes to the end, like when it comes to actually playing on game day, it's a whole nother experience. Like everyone's leveled up, everyone's adrenaline's out of this world. Everyone is. You're going and playing. You're representing your team. You're representing your brand, and you're going playing another guy, trying to fucking, kick the shit out of him. So I think that's where, like, it's good to have him in practice, get him used to an NFL routine and all that, blah, blah. But to me, it's throw him out there, see if he can, like, how well he does. Because the worst thing right now for the Dolphins would be the worst case scenario is if he goes out there next year and sucks ass and they're like, oh, we just wasted a year, like, not evaluating him. So now we have to push back. You're in that awkward stage of, like, he's still not ready, what the hell type thing.
Yeah, but I think Miami's not in a situation where next year they're going to draft a quarterback. Like, they're not one of those bottom teams that could be making a run for Lawrence or Fields or anybody like that.
No, they're not. But for instance, if Tua comes out and completely shits the bed, then you're gonna have some questions about your quarterback position. So I guess the longer you're away from knowing he's the answer or not, the longer you're away of knowing you have your franchise guy. So I mean, not to say that one season like he's the guy or not. 6 games he's the guy or not. But next year, if he comes out and he plays absolutely awful, you're going to start to really question his ability, I think.
Well, I think you address it at that point and decide that, all right, like, this guy's not doing it. Maybe we are going to be in a running in the 2022 draft for a quarterback. But I think...
Right, but what if... Okay, I guess what I'm saying is what if this year he plays and he's absolutely awful, now you're in the running for one of the top quarterbacks coming out.
But I don't think Miami's in a situation like that. I think there's a lot of teams that are
you don't know how the season's going to play out. I'm saying, like, if right now he takes over for Fitzpatrick, right, 5 weeks into the season, and the rest of the season he completely blows. Like, he just does not look good at all, and you end up with the top 3 pick. Right? Compared to next year, if he starts the full year and you wind up with the top 3 pick, you're going to be like, there's no one out here we can get. I guess I'm just saying that's the worst case scenario. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm saying that's why I think you should go out and play your guy, because you really don't know what you have until you know what you have.
Yeah. I think Miami's fine being patient with him, though. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, their approach, both work. Not to say that one works to the other. It's really your preference. But... yeah. They're being patient, and by all means, he's coming off an injury. Have him sit, and you build a better team for him next year so he could be successful, so you don't have to worry about picking your quarterback or not. Because a lot of times a good QB can be good, and the team around him is just absolutely trash, and you don't know what you actually got in him because you never even put him in a position to succeed. So,
right.
There's always that case too. So, like I said, there's no wrong way or the right way. It's like preference, and I just prefer to have your guy out there and see what the fuck he has versus him sitting and then next year you see he sucks.
Yeah, I mean, seeing how Rodgers and Mahomes ended up, I think I'm fine with my guy.
Yeah, it's definitely the hope.
Thank you for listening in to this clip of the Moose Bros podcast. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment below, and subscribe to this channel to see more clips just like this one. If you want to listen to the whole podcast, you can find us at Spotify or Apple Podcasts under Moose Bros Sports.